For the fifth episode of Head in the Game, please help me welcome Julia Razo, my dear friend and a basketball player. Julia, welcome to Generous Mind. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So, you've been playing professional basketball for a couple of years now. I'm curious to see from the American perspective, how do you compare American to European basketball?
Well, that's a good question. I personally like how basketball is played over here in Europe. I think it's much more team oriented, a lot more like tactical too. Like I've learned so much since I first came over here for sure. I feel like in the US it's very like individual based, kind of maybe selfish if you want to put it that way. I mean, it's a different atmosphere like in so many aspects, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like American basketball is very much one-on-one in five
Yeah.
on five, and the Europeans share the ball.
Mhm. Yeah, way more.
Yeah. So, how do you deal with like being homesick, living abroad? Because you don't really go home that often from what I saw. So, how do you do it?
Yeah. I feel like each year I go home less and less. To be the only thing I miss from home is my family.
Yep.
Like I've never really been a fan of life in the US, and I mean especially now things are very, not great. And I love my life overseas, so I think I just try to like live in the present moment, and I try to stay in contact with my family as much as I can and just keep that communication like really well with them. So yeah.
But like staying in touch with your family, do you also stay in touch with some of your friends from America? And how do you go about, like keeping the old friendships and developing new ones? Because as an adult, it's kind of hard. So,
Yeah, it's hard, especially with like moving from like new city, like new club to club, you're always just like meeting new people, which is great. But yeah, I think keeping in contact with my friends from home is just kind of like reaching out. And if we can find a time to like FaceTime, we'll like have a quick call and just talk about anything. But yeah, it's hard, especially with time difference. And they have their own lives as well. So it's understandable. But yeah, I do my best.
yeah. How do you like go about making new friends? If, like, do you go to places or do you just stay within the team or how do you go about that?
I try to integrate myself as best as possible within each team that I go into. Sometimes it's complicated though, because they also have their own lives. They're not just here just to play like I am. So I have so much more free time. So I definitely do, kind of have my own like routines, or like I'll go to places and I try to be, friendly, and I feel like I'm pretty open when it comes to meeting new people. And that perfect balance of like introvert and extrovert. So I feel like meeting people isn't that hard for me, to be
Yeah.
honest.
What, in your opinion, is the hardest part about being a professional athlete?
I think a lot of like what is the mental aspect of being an athlete and like just the game in general, kind of just like having a bounce back mentality, having a good balance of like knowing how to criticize yourself but like not put yourself down, and just to keep working. Like you have to keep pushing no matter like if things are going great, if things are going bad. I think sometimes, yeah, just that like mental game can be hard. And then obviously, especially with injury, that's a whole nother ball game. So yeah.
Yeah. How do you deal with injuries? You've had a couple, so how do you go
Yeah.
about just staying positive during the process?
I don't even know, to be honest. I think you kind of just have to like fake it till you make it. At the end of the day, like there's always light at the end of the tunnel. I know it's like a really cliche, and sometimes when you're in those like, difficult moments, it's hard to see that light at the end of the tunnel, but just like taking it day by day, moment by moment, knowing that like I've gotten past difficult times before. So I know that I will get through whatever I'm going through.
Okay. Um, Compared to like college basketball and college athletics and the professional in Europe, how do you compare those like in terms of recovery equipment and doctors and physical trainers and all of that, like outside of the actual playing part?
Yeah, I think maybe if I had to say I miss something from the US, it would be that. Because from my experience, like we definitely have like physios on the team, and they do their best and I trust all their work. It's just like, yeah, maybe the equipment isn't like we don't have as much of it or like the best quality per se, or from what I'm used to. In terms of like when I was playing and stuff, like the recovery, like I don't know, I think every club is different depending what they have in terms of like financial, freedom or whatever. But yeah, I think maybe that aspect is something that I kind of miss back from the US for sure.
Do you have any advice for people from collegiate athletics wanting to go pro?
I mean, I guess if you have the opportunity, definitely go for it. Why not? I feel like everyone has a different type of experience. Some people end up loving it, some people, end up hating it. And I think it doesn't hurt to try because you'll just never know unless if you try. So just like go for it and just enjoy it. There's like a lot of pressure, just trying to just like enjoy your own personal journey and make the most out of it because the time is now.
Mhm. What would you say is the best part of being a professional athlete?
Probably like the personal growth and development that I've had since I first came overseas with traveling, like with a team, but also like my own personal travel that I've been so blessed to be able to do and meeting people for sure. I've met a lot of great people while being overseas.
Yeah, I love that. Uh, I know professional athletes have a lot of free time on their hands. How do you fill your free time?
Try to get into like a routine, like my own little like morning routine, like to journal a lot. That kind of also helps when I'm like overthinking and just kind of like starting out the day with like, reminding myself of all the things that I have to what to be like grateful for. And I like to take a lot of walks. I think one of the perks of like, playing overseas basketball is just how beautiful it is over here. I feel like in the US it's just so depressing. Like you would not see me going out on like a long nice walk in my neighborhood. So yeah, I don't know, just like little routines like that, I guess.
Yeah, the US is kind of built for cars, whereas Europe is built for walking, I feel like.
Literally.
And you can go to the cafes and enjoy the
Yes, I
local
love to go get
food. Yeah.
that coffee, yeah.
Yeah. See, what I admire about you the most is your ability to just enjoy life. You seem like you're always just going to music festivals, going to not like parties, but like to enjoy the music. And what does music mean to you?
I think music is almost like a therapy for me, especially now that I can't, like go to the gym, go get my shots up and stuff. Music in general, like I'm always playing music. I love listening to new music. And I think music has also introduced me to a lot of lovely people as well. Because yeah, like when you're playing and stuff, like it's a lot. And I think having that little outlet too, like it's not a bad thing to go out and, kind of like disconnect as well. Like, I don't know, for me personally, I think that it's like a healthy little balance to have every now and then to go out and enjoy the music and just enjoy yourself.
Yeah, you
And it's
gotta,
not right, obviously, but yeah,
yeah, you gotta live your life, not just focus on one thing. Yeah.
exactly.
Um, so what is your secret to enjoying life? Like with the hardships that you've been going through too, like how do you just make sure you're always just enjoying?
Yeah. I think trying to be in the present as much as possible. And just like watering those relationships that keep me up, keep me happy and at peace. I think my mental peace has been something that I've really like been taking care of too recently. So yeah, just like having good relationships and just yeah, trying to stay positive as much as I possibly can.
What are your techniques to staying positive and taking care of your mental health?
So I think definitely journaling, like I said before, helps. Um, and also just like knowing who I can vent to, having those like safe spaces. And then also just like my own internal dialogue, which isn't as easy as I say sometimes. But when I start to like catch myself, kind of being like more tough with myself because I do think that I am tough with myself, trying to like just be like more gentle, like be like, dude, like you're okay, like this is what you have to go through right now, and it's all gonna be okay.
Yeah, it's really important to give yourself some grace. because
Yeah,
we're only going through this life for the first time, so we're just learning as we go, right?
yeah, I love that. Exactly.
Yeah. Would you have any advice for people dealing with injuries, like a long-term ones, like getting surgery and the recovery process? And I know you said that there's always light at the end of the tunnel and you're gonna get through this, but is there anything you do to make sure you just stay on top of
I
yourself?
think like personally, just yeah, staying on top of whatever routine like rehab you have going is very important. It's just, obviously like be back in the best possible shape and just having patience is like probably the best advice I can give. Again, another one that's like really easier said than done. But I think it's important because you never want to rush with these long-term, injuries. You never want to rush getting back. I know it's really hard because of course I would love to be back on the court as soon as possible, but I'd rather just be fully back, not only physically but mentally too, confident so that when the time comes that I can come back the right way.
So the mental side of the game, do you have any, like exercises that you do to keep yourself mentally going, like when you're in season and also when you're injured?
I think during like when I'm in season playing, it's a little bit harder, but I think just trying to like kind of like have that bounce back mentality. Yeah, maybe after like a bad game or something, like I'll feel what I have to feel, but trying not to let that like overtake itself and go to a spiral and go into the next week and the next week and the next week, like kind of just having that bounce back mentality. And so far, like with the injury, I think just that grace that you said, like having like trying to implement that grace with myself as much as possible because yeah, this is the first time I'm going through this and like nothing can ever prepare you for when you do go through something like this. So just yeah, trying to take it day by day and knowing that everything's going to be okay.
Mhm. How much longer do you think you're gonna be playing basketball for, and what do you want to do after you finish this chapter of your life?
That's a good question. Honestly, I want to keep playing as long as my body and the opportunities allow. So I don't really have like a time frame after basketball. However, I would love to be able to try and use my degrees because I worked hard for those as well. And yeah, so something within like probably like the medical field, maybe go back and study a little bit as well, if need be, and kind of just like serve my community.
Hmm. That's pretty cool. Outside of journaling and music and basketball, what are some of your hobbies that you like lean on to just get through the long seasons?
Yeah, I don't know. I think a hobby could be like just spending time with my friends, or teammates, like whoever I bond with, and like yeah, getting coffee and just like just that disconnect of like talking, like even if it's just BSing and laughing about whatever, or even venting about basketball. Sometimes I think that it's necessary to just have those healthy relationships and like outlets to be able to like recharge and like keep going. I love going to the beach. Right now I'm not near a beach, but it's okay. It's not like I could go anyways.
With the political climate in America, what is your stance on, these ICE raids and all of this? Because I know you're Mexican American. So how do you feel about people just overall just being racist, I don't know how else to put it, and just telling everybody to go to back to their countries and all of that stupid stuff that people come up with.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to see all of that happening back home. I'm not a fan of people that say literally, yeah, it's blatantly racist, to tell someone to go back to where they came from because I mean, to be real, like the US is no one's except for the Native Americans. Like we were all descendants from some type of immigration, like immigrants. So yeah, it's just really disheartening. Like I said before, like I've never really been, I don't know, I'm so grateful for my father. My father is from Mexico. The majority of my family is in Mexico, and I feel very much more in tune with my Mexican heritage than I guess being a US native. So yeah, I've never really felt like the US was my home. But I guess with all that being said, like it's still just like very disheartening. Like it's like it's doesn't make sense to me. I don't think anyone should have to go through that. And yeah, it's just all very
It's messed
disheartening to
up.
see.
Yeah.
Like it's disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So after you're done playing in Europe, do you want to go back to the States? Do you want to go to Mexico, or do you want to stay in Europe somewhere?
My plan is to hopefully stay in Spain. I love it here.
Hmm.
I found home in A Coruña, which is the first place that I went to go play. I was playing there for 2 years, and I just feel so at home there, and I have friends there as well. So
I
that's
love
where
that.
I to start my
Mhm.
life.
Okay, I love that for you. I hope it works out. Outside of Spain, do you want to try playing somewhere else as well, or do you want to stay in Spain for a long, like till then?
Yeah, I mean, I like if I had my first choice would to be to stay in Spain, but I've always told like my agent and stuff that I'm more than open to go anywhere else, like and play and like learn new culture. Like I love that sense of like just learning. I think that you can learn out of every experience and like learn from people, a different style of basketball as well, I'm sure. So yeah, I'm open to anything.
Hmm. Yeah, this year I'm thinking of trying to play somewhere over the summer, and like Mexico is one of the places that I saw that they have the leagues over the summer. So, have you ever considered playing there, or do you know how the basketball works there?
Yeah, I feel like every summer I've like almost like gotten those deals sealed, but it just never happened. I do know that the league is like at least since I first started playing, like it's gotten stronger over the years. And I know like girls that have gone there to play and they're delighted. So if you can, for sure,
Yeah,
go play.
I'm hoping, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah, I hope that works out for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'd be exciting.
Yeah, trying to see like different parts of the world too. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you considered playing somewhere in Asia or like Australia? I know those are harder teams to get to, but would you want to stay in Europe? Like, are you open to just Europe or the whole world?
Yeah, I've thought about Australia for sure. I've had like teammates that are from Australia, and I know that they play in those leagues, and it's very strong. And I'd be open to Asia. I mean, I've never thought about it, but why not? Like, if
Mhm.
something were to arise, and I felt like it aligned with what it is that like I feel best, then for sure, like I said, fucking why not?
Yeah. How do you choose a team? You know, like if you have a couple offers, what is the things you're looking for, and what would you say new players should be looking out for?
I think what's important for me is kind of like knowing that maybe the philosophy of like the coach and what my role would be on that team and just kind of seeing if it would be like a good fit. I mean, you never really know until you get there, and sometimes things change as well. It's not as picture perfect as they tell you, but I think knowing like a good sense of what it is that they're looking for and what they expect from you is good to know. And then I think also like to the what they can offer in terms of like accommodation, I think is always important. Like the housing situation
Mhm.
and also too, like if you can talk to previous players that have played with that club and whatnot and seeing what their experience, like just to take it with a grain of salt, it never hurts just to like hear how it was for them. And yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even every team, like each player experiences it differently, so it's kind of hard to know what you're getting yourself into until you're there, like you said.
Yeah.
Um, Being from the US, have you seen the WNBA and how they're not paying their players properly? Like, what do you think where that league's going now? Because from what I heard, like the players there are trying to come to Europe more, and like nobody knows if there's gonna be another season of WNBA. Have you heard about something like that, or what do you think about that?
Well, I didn't hear the part about like there potentially not being a season because of those issues. I knew that they were for a while now, they've always kind of had that like imbalance of like not fair pay and stuff, which I think is ridiculous because I mean, in theory, it's the best league, like that's I feel like every little girl's dream when you're young is to make it to the W. And yeah, I just it doesn't make sense now in day and age, like why wouldn't they be being paid what they deserve? It's 2026. So I didn't hear anything about their petition not being a league. I think that that's sad. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
hopefully they can figure out how to just pay the women properly because yeah they're so talented. Like I don't know, it's just I feel like that imbalance between like the men and women's sports has always been interesting. um I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy that the worst paid NBA athlete has still more money than the best paid WNBA athlete.
Literally, yeah.
And it's not even close.
No, for real, yeah. That's
Yeah.
wild. It makes sense why they would want to come over here to other leagues, anywhere overseas if they're going to be treated better.
Or try the Unrivaled. I like hear that they get paid well, so
Yeah.
and I heard that there is a new league coming in, or there's a couple like new leagues that I've seen popped up over the like US uh AU Pro or something like that. I don't know. I don't know the
Uh,
names correctly, but I saw a
yeah,
couple like different leagues building up from zero now. And it's interesting to see if like something's gonna be a competition for the WNBA now. Like, I
yeah,
feel like EuroLeague and W are the two best leagues in the world. So, and then the WBL in or NBL in Australia too. So,
yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where all of this goes.
Yeah. Hopefully for the better.
Hopefully. It would be nice if women were treated as equals finally. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah,
That will be it for today. Thank you so much, Julia, for joining me and talking to me, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
of course. Thank you so much. I wish you the best as well.
Thanks.